1 month ago, I posted this video, which was my 10 before the end, or basically just my end of year TBR. It's the 10 books that I wanted to finish before the end of the year. And since posting that video, I've only read 2 of them. So I have 8 books left to read in just over a month if I want to finish these before the end of 2024. And that's what I'm going to focus on this week. I'm currently reading the Pumpkin Spice Latte. And I know that when this comes out, it's going to be in the middle of bookmas. So everybody is way past fall, but this was on my list and I have to finish it. And right now, technically I'm still in November. And this is going to be my last taste of fall before I move on to the winter books. I'm currently on chapter 19, page 197, so I'm a little more than halfway through. And I went into this book with pretty low expectations, and I feel like it's giving me pretty much exactly what I expected it to. If you're unaware, this book got really popular, I think last year. It's just a fall rom-com kind of Hallmark movie-esque, but it's also very heavily inspired by Gilmore Girls. The author is Laurie Gilmore, which I'm assuming is a pen name because otherwise it would just be quite the coincidence. And she even says in the dedication, if you've ever wanted to live in Stars Hollow, this is for you. We're following Jeannie, who just moved to Dream Harbor. It's a small town on the East Coast, and she's moving in so that she can take over her aunt's pumpkin spice cafe. I don't remember why, but the aunt decides to just kind of up and leave. I think maybe she goes on vacation. I'm not really sure, but she ends up meeting Logan, who's a farmer, and she's having this sort of issue at the cafe. She's hearing these noises at night and she thinks there's like an intruder or something. So he agrees to do kind of a stakeout and help her figure out what's going on. And it's just a cute, fast, small town romance. Like I said, it's not anything spectacular, but it's exactly what I was expecting. And today I've been listening to it on audiobook, and I feel like it's really great to just have on in the background. And I only have 3 hours left in the audiobook, so I would love to finish it today and then move on to something else. Okay, so I have updates and they're not really good, but I did finish the Pumpkin Spice Cafe about a week ago. I actually finished this while listening to an audiobook and doing my bullet journal. I was actually doing that in my December reset video, but I haven't actually come on here and talked about how I felt about it. This was basically everything I expected it to be and nothing more. I think I said at the beginning that this is just like a cute Hallmark romance, and I wasn't expecting any sort of literary masterpiece or a really great plot or anything, and I feel like that's what I got. I would say I probably read half of it and listened to half of it, and listening to it was really great because it was one of those books that I just wanted to have on in the background that I wasn't paying 100% attention to because I didn't really care that much, but it was cute to have on in the background and I got the overall picture of what was going on. But it's one that I really don't have a whole lot of thoughts for, and at the moment I'm trying to think of like exactly what happened in this book and I can't really remember, and I know that's not a great sign, and maybe that's partially because I listened to the last half on audiobook, but I also genuinely have the memory of a goldfish and I don't remember anything. Lately Brendan has started calling me goldfish because my memory has been getting so bad that I forget everything. So I don't know that that necessarily reflects upon this book much. I just didn't really care much about it. I gave it a 3-star because it was exactly what I wanted. It was middle of the road, not great, not bad. I don't feel like it was boring at any points. It was just quick and to the point. I don't think I'm gonna pick up anything else in this series. I know she has the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and the Christmas Tree Farm. I just don't think it's worth it for me to pick it up because I know I would have probably the same experience. And while I don't regret reading this, I just feel like it didn't really add any value, if that makes any sense. I feel like that was a little bit negative, and I don't want to come off like I didn't enjoy the book because I did. It was cute, I had fun. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. It just wasn't anything that I'm going to remember or be blown away by or recommend. The book that I am here to complain about is Misery by Stephen King. I was so excited for this one. I'm sure if you heard me talking about it in my multiple TBRs that I've probably mentioned it in, I have been looking forward to this all year. I was so excited for this one. I don't really know why. And I did start reading it physically. I got to page 8 before I said absolutely not, I can't do that anymore. I need to audiobook this. I fear that Stephen King just might not be for me. While I'm listening to it, I can recognize that he is a very talented writer. Like, I feel like he's very good at the craft of drafting a really great sentence. He's good at making visuals, metaphors, things like that. But I personally find his writing to be boring. And this is only my second book by him. The other one was Billy Summers, and I definitely enjoyed Billy Summers way more than this one, but I still felt like it was very long and drawn out. Like, he doesn't get to the point ever. And that's my issue with this one. The premise of this one is that we have our main character, Paul, who is an author. He has this very popular series which is called Misery, and he actually really hates those books. And in the last book, he just killed off the main character, Misery, which he knows is going to upset his fan base, but he's like, I can finally be done with this series, I hate it. And our story takes place when he gets into a car accident in the middle of of a snowstorm, and our other main character Annie happens to find him, and she just so happens to be one of his biggest fans and also psycho. So she sees that he is injured, unconscious, and instead of bringing him to the hospital, she brings him back to her house, where she kind of nurses him back to health, but then she starts to torture him and force him to rewrite the Misery series. She does not like that he killed off Misery, and she's like, okay, you're gonna write me a new book. All while he is hopped up on these drugs. Oh, his legs don't work because they've been obliterated, and she is just torturing him so far psychologically and with these pills that he's on. I do believe that it gets much more violent and graphic when it comes to the torturing later in the book, but I think that I have to DNF this. I've been listening to it for about a week, and first off, these chapters are so long. The first one was like almost 4 hours. There's only 4 chapters total. I am 41% of the way through, and I just realized that it wasn't worth it to force myself to read it or listen to it if I'm just not enjoying it whatsoever. My problem with this is just that I feel like it's so drawn out and slow. I was looking through the Goodreads reviews, and someone said the man sure does love his words, and true. That is how I feel. I feel that while his sentences are great, they're quality, we could get rid of at least half of them. But also, I just am not really that interested in the plot. I feel like I don't care about Paul. I don't really care about whether he escapes her or not. And then where I'm at currently, he is starting to write the next book in the Misery series, and then the last, I don't even know how long, has been me just reading the new Misery book. And it's a series that I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that Misery's dead and he's trying to find a way to bring her back, but I don't know who any of these characters are. I don't care what's happening. I don't care at all about Misery. Misery hasn't even made an appearance, and I've listened to so many chapters of this new book of his, and I just don't care. And I just feel so disappointed, and I really wanted to push through. I wanted to try and finish this, but I just decided today that it's just not worth it anymore. I really try not to force myself to finish books that I don't enjoy, and this is one of them. I even put it on a couple days ago. Brendan and I went to the Renaissance Festival, which is like an hour drive from here, and I put it on for the first 50 minutes of the drive. He was like, oh my god, please put me out of my misery. That was awful. I think we listened to at least 15-20 minutes about him picking a lock. He just kept looking at me like, is this boring to you? And I don't even know why we listened to it for a full 50 minutes before we said this is enough. So obviously, like I said, big disappointment. I really wanted to love this, and now I don't know if I'm ever gonna pick up another Stephen King book. I don't own any copies of any of his other books, but there are a few that were on my list that I was thinking of picking up, and now I definitely don't have a desire to do that anytime soon. But if anybody's read this book, let me know. Did you have the same experience, or did you love it? Is this maybe a little bit slower than some of his other books, or if I don't like this, will I not like the rest of his? On Goodreads, it has like a 4.2, so it's not rated poorly at all. People do really enjoy this. I just don't. And like I said, I want to make it very clear, I think he's a very talented writer. He's the king after all. Like, I know he's good. I just think that maybe his writing style is not for me, and I am upset about that. But it's time to move on. So I don't know what I'm gonna pick up next. I'm thinking maybe Heartstopper, just because after dragging through this book, I feel like I would love to have something that I could finish in one sitting. But we'll see. I'm gonna take a bit of a reading break for now. I'm gonna be so honest with you. As I'm filming this, it is December 10th, so hopefully the day before I'm gonna be posting this video. And I was definitely not planning on posting this video tomorrow, but I don't have anything else ready. So this is what I decided to focus on today. And obviously I've only read 2 books so far. And while I wanted to do maybe 4, that's just not gonna happen anymore. And that's definitely my fault. I feel like a dummy. I started this video in November, and I don't know how long it's been, but I have not read for this one in a while, because for some reason I thought it would be a great idea to have multiple reading vlogs going on at the same time. So I'm currently reading a holiday book for a different video, but I'm gonna have to put that on pause, and now I need to start and finish a new book today, and then finish editing this video to get it out tomorrow. And I think I'm definitely gonna have to go with volume 3 of Heartstopper, which is the book that I mentioned in the last clip that I probably was gonna read next anyways. But I feel like it's kind of a cop-out because it's a graphic novel, but it's not really a cop-out. Like, I have to read it anyways, it's on my list. I just wanted to read an actual full novel other than this one, but oh well. I feel like after the Stephen King book, I honestly just wanted to do a 180 and do something totally different, which is why in the middle of this vlog, I started doing my reading holiday books vlog, just for something totally different, I guess. But once I finish Heartstopper, we are going to be 3 books closer to finishing my 10 before the end, and I think that's going to put me at 5. Let me double check. Yeah, so we DNF'd Misery, and I've already read One Dark Window, House of Hollow, and The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. So reading this will put me at exactly halfway through my 10 before the end, which is crazy. We are currently a third of the way through December, and I am 8 books short of my reading goal for the year, and only halfway through my 10 before the end. Once Bookmas is over, I need to really take a break from videos and editing and just read whatever I want to read. But that's a story for a different time. Tonight I'm going to read Heartstopper, which, if you're unfamiliar, this is a young adult graphic novel series. It follows Nick and Charlie, who are in high school. They become friends, and then they start to realize they want to be maybe more than friends. And at this point in the series, I believe they are officially dating. It's not really a series where a whole lot has happened so far. I mean, it's a graphic novel, so there's not a whole lot going on here. in terms of words at least. But I'm very intrigued to see what we get up to in volume 3. I feel like the first one I really loved. I thought it was so cute. I was like giggling and kicking my feet. It was just so sweet and adorable and I really liked it. Book 2 I definitely still enjoyed, but it just wasn't the same. And part of me thinks that that's because I'm kind of a slow burn girl. I'm starting to realize my favorite part in a romance book is before the two people get together. And that's really what we got in volume 1. And now that they're together, I'm kind of afraid that maybe I lost some interest now that they're actually together. But I don't know. I hope that enough is going on to keep me intrigued and to keep me really invested in their story and really loving it. But regardless, I think I'm still gonna really enjoy this, and I'm excited just to see where else this story is gonna take us. Because yeah, now they're boyfriends, but there has to be so much more that's gonna happen. So if anything big does happen, then I obviously won't be telling you because I don't want to spoil it. But I am gonna read this and let you know what I think. Don't do this to me. So obviously I finished Heartstopper. I just really love this series. It's so sweet and cute, and also I feel like it's just starting to handle some topics that are a little bit deeper. I feel like it was never really that surface level to begin with, but now we're gonna go through a lot, I feel like, in this series, other than purely the main fact that we're following Nick and Charlie, who are coming out in high school and just dealing with everything that comes with that. We have so much more going on. Some things that we started to tackle in this one that I think we're gonna talk about a lot more in the next one. I feel like Alice Oseman does a really good job of balancing between the sad parts that feel like they're just gonna break my heart, and then all of the really cute parts that make me feel so happy. And yeah, I feel like I never have too much to say about this because it is a graphic novel. It's not like I can really talk about the writing or anything. I do always love the drawing style of this, and I just like seeing all of the different relationships that we have going on between all of their friends and everything. I just enjoyed it, and I feel like that's all else I can really say. So far, I'm pretty sure I gave the first 2 books 4 stars, and I think I'm gonna do the same with this one. It doesn't feel like the absolute best thing I've ever read that like blows me out of the park that I think is a 5 star, but it's a very solid 4-star series, I feel like, and I'm definitely excited to continue it. I don't have the next volume, but I'm gonna pick it up at some point soon, I'm sure, just so I can continue on Nick and Charlie's story and see what we're gonna go through next. I actually don't know. Let me see how many volumes there are. Looks like there are 5 volumes out, and I don't know if she's gonna come out with more. From what I've heard, I don't think it's finished yet, but that's kind of crazy. That means I only have 2 volumes left until she comes out with more. But I'm glad that I finally read this, and it got me one step closer to finishing my 10 before the end. I gotta go so that I can edit this video and post it tomorrow. I'm sorry that I didn't read a whole lot in this video, but I am working on a couple other reading vlogs, so hopefully I'll have a few more by the end of the year. But that's all I have for now. If y'all enjoy this video, then maybe I'll do a part 2 of trying to finish the other 5 books by the end of the year. I'm currently not feeling too optimistic about it, but we'll see how it goes. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in 2 days for another bookmas video. Bye!